Hey, Decathlon Gamer, welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020 Champions episode 24. We're at the Mont Ventoux Challenge right before we head into the National Championships. Now, we've got a lot of riders that are set up and ready to go for National Championships. We fixed the fatigue problem that almost everybody had. I have a single rider here that still has a little hint of fatigue in Cyclops. He's got a -1 today because of it. Race day condition and weather, everything should be good. We should be in good shape. In fact, we actually have riders that are hitting those fitness peaks for the National Championships coming up. Hulk is supposed to have a +2 today. Likewise, we're supposed to have a +1 for, I think, Gamora and, or was it Iron Man? One of those two was supposed to have a +1. Everybody else is supposed to be on a 0. So overall, team is supposed to have a net +2 today. And oh my goodness, we drew the short end of the stick today. We've got a, let's see, -8, +5, -3 overall when we should have a +2. So -5 net as a team. Certainly could be worse, but that's a nearly -1 average per rider. And then, of course, our favorite, the important piece here is our favorite is Hulk. It's our best climber. He's supposed to have a +2. He ended up with a -2. So a -4 draw for Hulk today really, really hurts. Everybody else is essentially net neutral, but Hulk by themselves makes up the entire difference. Also, difficult news is the breakaway of 16 very quickly went out to a massive lead. Nobody wanted to pick up the chase, and now we are sacrificing in order to try to pull it back, or at least manage it, maintain it, because you can pick up a lot of ground on that final climb, the pure climbers, but the group, if they have a massive lead, you're not going to pull it back. So they were out to 13.5 minutes before I put Black Panther on the front. We've already got it down to 10:40. He's only working at a 70, so he's not having to go too deep. He's pulling all by himself with literally zero support from the rest of the peloton. We do have the favorite in Hulk, but I would not consider Hulk a favorite considering the ugliness that is his -2. So could be worse. Brings the resistance down to a 68, stamina down to a 72, mountain down to an 81. That does hurt. Gamora is our other contender, though, and she might actually be the favorite today. Mountain at 80, so only 1 point below where Hulk is today. Obviously a much better sprinter, but more importantly, stamina at 78 and resistance 83 today for her. That is pretty tolerable. So be kind of riding tandem for those two and seeing how we go near the top, but it very well could be Gamora going for it instead of Hulk. Iron Man, the other support rider, is nowhere near their level. 77, 74 with the mountain and resistance. Not bad, but certainly nowhere near where the other two are. So we've got it down under 10 minutes, and for now we're just kind of on cruise control. 80 kilometers to go. We're going to need water at least once, maybe twice. I'm not sure if we have enough to get it down to the window we need, which is probably want to hit it at about 50k to go, and maybe even up around that peak would be a good time. Get it on the descent, and it looks like we'll just about make it to that point, so that's good. Black Panther obviously feeling it from doing the work here, but nobody else is. Gap's down to 8.5 minutes, so slowly, and finally some other teams decide to join the foray at the front and slowly try to bring this thing back. In fact, it looks like they're pushing that little bit harder as we go inside. 8 minutes on the gap, and all we need is 5 minutes or less, and we should have no problem catching those guys. And just like that, Black Panther is done. That happened very quickly. Let's get Thor on that task of getting water here shortly. This is that mark I wanted, about 50k and about the top of this climb. We want to hit it shortly before the top, though. All right, and woo, hello, splits already occurring. Black Panther out the back. You do not need to work here. Do not pull that thing back, please. Thank you. Let those guys go. Ooh, another split. Nice. All of a sudden, we have just 40 riders left at the front. The 16 still away. They're down to 6.5 minutes. Oh, it's back together. For a minute, I was very hopeful that we were suddenly dealing with a group of 40 and that I had 6 of those 40. That was a very encouraging sign, but 109, big difference. Back to 115. Black Panther has gotten back into the group and recovered, which means, oh, and the gap's back out to 8 minutes. No wonder. Okay, so the field decided they were no longer going to participate in chase. Iron Man does not need coverage. Gamora does. Let's also get maybe Thor onto it, and then Iron Man just go ahead and cover. 2 riders to the front. Yeah, that's worrying. That happened so fast that we not only allowed that second group to latch on, but groups that were well behind very, very quickly pulled this thing back. The moment I commit 2 riders, you can see a massive uptick in the pace. I mean, come on, you guys. Common sense, people. Common sense. All those riders committed, but for that one little moment, for that 5-10 kilometers, you know, really just a handful of seconds in game, we let the gap go out by almost 2 minutes. And let, 3-4 groups off the back latch back on. That's frustrating. All right, let's take care of this issue.
The pack is reducing the advantage with every turn of the pedal.
Covered off. We don't want them dropping back before we ever even get into the climb. Okay, now it's down to 5:45, and we are the ones doing that, pulling it back. But like I said, I think we need to have it at a much smaller level. And I like this. If we can keep it away, 49 back into a manageable set. It does look like that next group, though, might have a chance of getting back on. How far back are they? Not far back. Definitely not far back, but if we can keep them at bay, that's good for us. But of course, losing 2 riders to having to do the work at the front already before we ever even hit the climb is obviously a bit damaging. So Cyclops, we're going to gel up. They're not going to last that long. Thor is the one who's setting the higher tempo right now and keeping the groups behind at bay. We're going to have a little downhill section, and then we head on to the climb, and it's still 5 minutes to the front, and all 16 are there. So they're going to have somewhat tired legs, but they're not going to have incredibly tired legs. I mean, that's a lot of riders. It's a lot of riders to share the load. All right, Thor, go ahead and gel up. And maybe we just... Okay, well, they're splitting right away. That's a good thing. And maybe I need to just get on with the program and see what we're capable of today. So Gamora is actually going to follow Hulk. I'm looking at that race day condition, and I think I know what's going to end up happening with that one. So we do not have the kind of lead out we would want here. Cyclops is already done, so let's just get on with Thor, and we'll set, let's say, a 79. Gap behind is out to a minute. Thor, you're supposed to be at the front.
The riders are entering
and
the
we're
last
even ahead of Cyclops, who's just sitting.
There's an attack from inside the breakaway group.
There are some big teams here, but they didn't necessarily bring their big riders to us. Okay, Cyclops has gone out the back. First one dropped, and that gap has gotten much larger.
The riders
So we don't have to worry about them coming back.
With percentages above 10%.
All right, now Thor is going to start to emerge at the front, set tempo. We've got to also bring back that front group. This is not just about beating the group that we are within. It's not a foregone conclusion that the Peloton's going to win this thing. And we don't have anywhere near the kind of support riders that we would normally have. We're still at the base of the climb. And Thor's nearly done because we used Black Panther, Cyclops, and Thor to try to bring back a breakaway that at this point there is no guarantee at all that we're going to bring them back. So this is very worrying that we're already down this far. We're already hurting this much. I mean, Doctor Strange is going to barely give us 1.5K on the front. It's like, that's like Mulan territory. I work for the team, but I'm not going to actually do anything. And that far out, that far up the list. So there he is. There is your Tom DeBoulon, 67 Mountain. Sounds about right. No. What happened, Gamora? Gamora is caught behind that rider, Kelgertsman or whatever, and she has lost a ton of ground on her teammates, and we're suddenly down to 33. You need to back off. We need to catch that group, but we also need to find a way to fight through this with a little bit less pace.
Just past the 10 kilometers road sign.
And then once she gets back into position, we up the tempo again. Getting closer around us. Towel is definitely going to be one of the ones to watch out for. They've been right there in strong position. And we are catching the first group of riders, and then the second group of riders, not that far away now. So actually, we've covered a lot of ground in a hurry. They are not climbing at a high rate of speed at all. All right, Hulk and Gamora both feeling it right now. Actually, Gamora's in worse shape, but of course we know why that is. She just had to make her way, fight her way through the field without support, without help, and that has done some damage. Okay, Iron Man, done. 7K. And there's still 31 riders left here. So, on to Hulk. This is not going to be a high-tempo kind of climb. This is, it's Mont Ventoux for one thing. This is going to be about survival right now. So let's go all the way down to 75. We're still destroying the field even with this lower pace. Speaking of, we're down to 8 riders, and 3 or 4 of those are the front group of breakaway riders. We've got to try to catch Jay McCarthy, but that's only a 69 mountain rating. So now we're down to 4 riders. And we are also down to very little energy for the now remaining 5. We have Ivan Sosa and Dunbar. Those are the other 2 contenders that we've got to try to get to the top and survive with. Now down to just 4, and of course it's those 4. So we've got 2 challengers. Sosa is an 80-74. Dunbar is a 75-74. I don't think we should have much problem with Dunbar, but you can see that both riders are now in trouble. Let's back off on the pace. $2.5K to go. Gel, we're not going to have anything left for the attack. I think we're... Oh, we dropped Dunbar. Just 3 riders, but Gamora not recovering here with 1.8K to go. I think Sosa's struggling too, though. All 3 of them are struggling. But how can we finish this off? We got 2 riders for the podium, and I don't have anything left in attack for Gamora, and Hulk certainly doesn't. Just do 99, and Gamora is the heart rate's right there, But Sosa, no, I thought that was an attack. It's not. 700 meters, 600 meters. 500 meters, and there goes the 4, for the final sprint. 3. Sosa had a little bit. Sosa had just a little bit left. We couldn't recover. Gamora was almost on the verge of recovery. Now, if it was flipped, right? If Hulk had the +2 and Gamora had the minus 10,000, -4 in the day, -2 overall. If that was reversed and Gamora was leading us up there, I think the outcome is exactly the same setup, but Hulk has something left, and Hulk takes the win. But because of the race day condition being flipped like that, Gamora was good enough to drop the rest of the field, but not good enough to and hang in there, but not good enough to go on and claim the win. And Hulk, who could outclimb and slowly just drop riders bit by bit, plus the support, right, wasn't there. That was a lot of kilometers with just those final 2. Iron Man was dropped well before the top, and still managed to take 14th. And finished right behind Tollhook. Well ahead of Jay McCarthy was the last breakaway rider, Rigoberto Uran, all the way down in 18th. George Bennett down in 20th. So it's a good race. It's a good result. Viermos Petters in 9th. I mean, there's a lot of good climbers spread out across that top 20. And we ditched all of them, but we could not break Sosa, who has a very good climbing rating. And all it took for them, probably anyway, a 0 race day condition, because Hulk was on that negative, and that negative just broke him down enough where he wasn't able to do much other than drop away the riders who were a little less than perfect on the day. On to the national championships. It's the U.S. version first, and of course this is the bulk of our riders as Nebula pushes for the end. She goes second place, just 1 second off the pace of Larry Warbase right now. This is some of my weaker riders going currently, but we definitely have some contenders for this one, though not the favorites. We should have 1 or 2 riders inside the top 5, but I don't know if we'll be able to pick up a win on this one or not. And for now, it's trying to kind of dial in the effort level. It's mostly flat, but you can see right there, there is definitely some undulation to this. And so managing the effort, and then, of course, having just a little bit for the end. And Dr. Strange, nice race day condition, but the weakest time trialist that we brought here, or one of the weakest anyway. So that +5 is utterly useless for us. Okay, into the lead for now with Hulk. Again, Dr. Strange is putting in a good time, a 75.81. The 81 is relevant because this is nearly 50% prologue. It's 18, just over 18 kilometers in length. 17 and a half is a 50-50 split between your time trial and prologue rating. Of course, there's the little sections that use mountain or hill mountain rating, plus your resistance. So yeah, there are other factors, but Dr. Strange could have a good time here and goes 4th quickest, just 3 seconds off the pace. And now Cyclops, +2 race day condition. Again, it's another one that looks good, about a 72 net for the day with the resistance piece. Looks pretty good. And Cyclops is lucking out because Cyclops is one of the couple riders here that still have a little bit of fatigue in the legs that we haven't quite been able to get out of there as we try to clear that up. I've now gone into the fitness a second time to manage that. +5 for Captain America. Hello. This is a 79.85. 79.85. So we're looking at about an 82. And then 85 on the resistance, a 76 on the climbing.
It's looking good, but he must not run out of steam if he wants to pull off a win in this time trial.
So we're going to try 77 for a good chunk of this. Hulk has dropped off the lead. Nielsen Palace has gone top by a very comfortable 44 seconds. We're going to back off again to 76 here for Captain America. Make sure we actually can get to the finish line. 77 for a while, I think, is about all we can manage, but so far so good. Push through there. And second place, 16 seconds down on Palace. Hopefully Palace faded near the end. Otherwise, we are looking at second place. And Palace is looking at maybe they had their own little +5. Okay, attacking the finish. Oh, still second place. 9 seconds off. 9 seconds. Boy, if we couldn't do it there, I'm not sure we're going to be able to. Iron Man is our best time trialist, though, so unless they have a +5 as well, looks like Nielsen Palace is going to be the winner, and we might be littered all over the top 10. We've got 4 of the top 6 riders right now. +1 for Ant-Man. They'll put in a decent time. They might climb into the top 10 with that. Right now, our worst was the first rider, and that's Star-Lord, who sits 21st overall. So we are definitely doing well comparatively, but that's because there's not a lot of great American time trialists. All right, we can, I think, go 77 the rest of the way for Ant-Man. And yes, we're looking at a top 10 for them. Okay, tack to the line, and third place. Wow, that was not expected. So third place into that gap between Captain America and then Hulk and everybody else, where it was really, really close. Ant-Man kind of moderates that gap a little bit, just a little bit ahead, another 7 seconds ahead of where Hulk was. And Iron Man ready to set off. They do have a very good race day condition. In fact, it's a +4. This might be enough. 81 time trial today and an 85 prologue. We're looking at 82.5. And then 79 resistance. Also the climbing that Captain America did not have in that 9-second gap between them and Paulus. Right on time with Paulus at the first check. Technically second. We're less than a second behind. We're still looking good on the effort with a 77. And we're going to keep up that 77 because I think we still had a little bit left in the tank before when we did a 77 for half and then backed off. So we're going to try to keep that going. 4 seconds down. Oh, this is so close. How's our downhill? A 77. Let's go 80. Let's go 80. And we make it to the line. Yes, we got it. Time trialist. Yes, specialties are finally meshing. Time trialist. Iron Man. He'll have the national champions jersey for next year, for the entirety of the next 12 months. Just beating out Nielsen Palace by 5 seconds. My favorite race of the year has grown by 50%. So we now have 3 riders at the Ugandan National Championship. Black Panther on a +1 race day condition, exactly what was expected. They have a fitness peak. They're one of the ones with a little bit of fatigue left. And to drop these two, we're going to have to be the one to attack. But the problem is that now Kagimu wants to attack constantly. And so it's going to be a little trickier now with 3 riders to try to leave both of them behind. Also, with both of them, it's going to be a lot easier for them to work together and maybe recover. So the dynamic is totally different this year. Also, Black Panther has been one of our weakest in terms of how quickly they have upgraded. Now, their flat rating today, a 67, is better. Ali, the new one, is a 62 flat with a 59 resistance at 29 years of age. Kagimu is a 60 flat with a 56 resistance. For us, for Black Panther, we are looking at a situation where it's better flat rating. 67 is not great, but it's certainly better than both of them. But the resistance and the stamina is so much better, and we've got quite some distance to cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up wearing these two out. You can see Kagimu is doing all the riding themselves right now. They're going to wear themselves out. They're going to be tired. We are going to recover. We're going to get back to full strength. And right now, Ali is doing the work. So tactically, we're already playing as if it's the final kilometers. If I can get both of these riders a bit worn out, I can first bridge the gap and get to the second rider, the front rider, Kagimu, quite quickly. And then I can just leave them in the dust. And if they don't come together, they'll have no chance of catching me. If they do come together, they might eventually have a chance. But I'm not going to do the work. So at this point, Ali not willing to let Kagimu go. And so they are doing the work. So both riders right now are tiring themselves out. And Black Panther barely feeling it. You can see heart rate's up there a little bit. I mean, just sitting on their wheel, we're actually not recovering. But in this chase, as they bring them in, that's when I need to attack and try to leave them behind. There's that part done, and now neither one of them wants to work. They want to force me, so this is the time to try to leave them both behind and see if we can ride off and leave them behind, slowly but surely. So we'll use all of our red bar to open up a gap, and then we'll set, say, a 73 for now and see how that does. Okay, we're holding enough of a gap, so we have it gotten away a little bit. But how long can we maintain this pace? Can they catch up to us? Are they working together? Probably. And again, if that flat rating could just get over 70, this would be such an easy race, but it's not. Now, we're out to 40 seconds now, so we are definitely opening up quickly. So we're going to start to back off a little bit because we need that energy. Out to 50 seconds. Out to a minute. Back off a little more. Minute 17. Heart rate, not bad, but we are going to eventually run out of energy if we don't continue to back off more. But it's out to a minute 40. Heart rate, almost where we need it to be. And we're still pulling away. Come on, a little more. Where can we get that down to that 140 mark and recover? There. Okay. It's now manageable at a 60. It's also holding at a 2-minute gap. And we are going to start to see some recovery happening. So we're going to hold this 60 for a while, and we're holding at 2 minutes. This might be enough. This might be enough. Okay, we need water. Didn't lose any time. That's good. Maybe 5 seconds to get the water. And they've split off from each other. Oh, this is perfect. Kagemu has attacked and left his partner behind. Now, he is covering the gap a bit. He's brought it down to a minute. But this is ideal because the biggest threat is those two working together. Right now, I'm recovering energy, and he's dying to try to get to me. And I can't let him get all the way here, though. And I haven't recovered much. I'm actually surprised I haven't recovered more than this, considering we're at 140. We've barely recovered. He's almost here. But we've left one rider in the dust. He made it. Wow. Kagemu has made it up here. And he is not going to contribute. And the gap's down to a minute 44. Well, dang, dude. Attack.
Attack from a rider.
Okay. We opened up a gap. He was very tired. We can't let him get back up to us. Oh, this is weird. If we can get and stay away and then get the heart rate down. Those two being separated is great, but we did not recover in the way that I had thought or hoped we would. Now we're starting to open it up, meaning he is done.
From now on in.
And right now we're not really hurting ourselves. Out to 18 seconds. Let's get down to that 60 where we know we can almost cut it and slowly recover. Now he's not going to have anything in the tank to chase us down. This should be a 1, 2, 3 from this point going forward. Heart rate's at 139. I mean, that should be recovery. I'm just not really seeing it. Okay, looking very close. We're at the left-hand edge of the K in the Black Panther. We need water again, but I really don't want to risk that right now. You can lose 5-10 seconds very easily. Okay, it is moved to the middle of the K, so it is slowly creeping out. But it's holding at just 17 seconds. Coming up on that 60K mark, and we really have to risk that water soon. Can't believe how slow it's moving. I mean, it's just not really coming up. It's finally hit the space between the K and the P in Black Panther. Alright, here we go. 15 seconds. This is worrying. Got it. Okay, we stayed away. Actually didn't even lose time. 16 seconds, and again, I'm slowly recovering. There's no way that he is recovering. He's a 60, 56, but he is just right on our heels. But a little acceleration, we should be able to open that up. And we are slowly recovering where he is not, so we will right away eventually. let's up the speed for a little bit. Because we did recover some energy. We've got to put a little distance between us and him. There we go. It's going out. It's going out. We got up to the P, so... And he's got no energy. He's got no chance to actually close this down any more than he is. He's probably doing 99 and just going as fast as he possibly can pedal with no energy. So it's out to 30 seconds now. We're back down to the K, but we know how to fix that. Back to a 60. 40 seconds. We more than doubled the gap. Make that 35. Not quite as big as I thought, but again, we're back into recovery mode. And 26K to go. Ali has got no chance of coming back. And now it's opening further, 44 seconds. Maybe he did have a tiny bit of energy and then used it to try to close the gap when we accelerated. And now he's starting to blow up because it's out to 45. 15K to go. 15K. Let's get to a 65 and just ride away. Just ride away. 10K to go. Out to a minute. 70. Gel. Minute 15. 4K. Take it home. Take it home all the way. 2K to go. And to the finish.
Great stuff.
For a 2-minute victory,
really
we got it.
And their sprinter brings
In fact, it
home the
opened to
bacon.
about 220 at the
Challengers are
end
still
over
coming in.
Kagemu.
We've
So
selected
yes,
the following highlights for you.
we did just enough to hang on to some energy, which kept us just beyond their reach. But then, in the end, that energy made a massive difference. We were able to accelerate a little bit and open the gap by a further 2 minutes in the final 20K there. Okay, defending national champion has won it yet again. Ugandan national colors for Black Panther for another year. It was definitely different this time with 3 riders instead of 2, but same story. In the end, it was a little tougher, and I guess that kind of makes perfect sense. As we develop, they added to the challenge a little bit by giving us 2 riders to beat instead of 1, because the 1, there was no doubt about it, but when there was 2, suddenly if they work together, it's a whole nother ball game, and they did for a little bit, and we kind of got that set up perfectly where 1 attacked and 1 wasn't willing to let that 1 go away, and then that just tired the both of them out, and then we were able to then use the attack ourselves, knowing that I could chase either of them down ultimately. And so I actually played well with the tactics. Woo! All right, folks. Well, that's 2 championship jerseys going forward, 1 for the road, 1 for the time trial. And we've got plenty of races left. We are bypassing some where riders are not in contention. Black Widow actually came really close to winning the individual time trial for Russia, even though she's like a 70 time trial. Gamora had a top 10 for Germany, and Germany's obviously much better in the discipline. So in years to come, we're going to have a lot more races to do. But for now, there's still going to be a few more to go. I mean, obviously, most of our riders are American, so the American road race coming up in that next episode is going to be a big one. We still have a couple Canadian riders, so there's a couple options there. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.